Hello everyone. Welcome to this video. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Brenda. I am an artist and a certified Zentangle teacher. Thank you so much for choosing to click on my video and watch along. Today is Mindful Monday, and what we do on Mindful Mondays is we take some time to slow ourselves down and bring ourselves into this very moment. With everything that goes on in our lives today, everything moves so fast. Everything is digitized. We have screens in front of our faces all day. Take some time to just sit back and relax and bring yourself again into the moment. So, Zentangle is a meditative art form. There is some ceremony to it, and there are 8 steps. Today, I'm going to take you through these 8 steps of the magical Zentangle method of drawing. I always say it's magical because it has changed my life in so many ways, and this is just one of them. It allows me to bring some mindfulness into my life. So let's go ahead and begin with step 1, gratitude and appreciation. In this step, I am going to guide you through a short breathing exercise to help us get settled and kind of clear our minds, release our thoughts, and bring ourselves into the moment. So let's get started with a couple of big breaths in. Breathing in, getting tall, and out, and just relax. And another big breath in, and out. One final big breath in, and out. And just drop your shoulders and relax. And now let your breath just fall into its natural breathing rhythm. Breathing in and breathing out. And simply pay attention to the breath. You don't have to direct it, just follow it. And thoughts are going to come in. That's okay. That's just your mind doing what it does. It thinks. Let it be okay. And just notice the thought and then let it go. Bring your focus back to the breath. And now I want you to think of something that you are grateful for. It can be the simplest of things, or it can be something grand. But once you have that thought, hold on to it and really try to pay attention to the feeling of it. How does gratitude feel? And remember this feeling today as we draw. And if you reach a point where you just get a little flustered, or you simply need to stop and take a break, it's okay. Just stop. Take a big breath in and relax on the exhale. And then just go ahead and start again. You'll feel much better. Okay, one final big breath in and out. And that is all there is to step 1, gratitude and appreciation. Now, before I move on to step 2, let's just talk a moment about what we're going to use. Now, I am going to be drawing on an original square Zentangle tile. It's 3.5 inches square, and it's small on purpose. So that's what we're going to draw on. But if you don't have one, just grab a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be fancy. I'm going to be using a Micron PN pen. Now, the PN stands for plastic nib, and that means it's a little sturdier, and I certainly benefit from it because I have a heavy hand, and unfortunately, sometimes my shading and everything else suffer from it. The nibs on my pens especially. So the plastic nib is good for me. I'm also going to be using a pencil and a tortillon to blend the graphite. Now you can just have a pen and a pencil, and you can even blend the graphite with your finger if you don't have a blending tool. It's okay. Just draw along. It's the journey, not the end result, even though hopefully you will enjoy your end result. And as always, we have our little bijou, our Zentangle mascot, helping to remind us that we are going to slow down today as we draw. And that will help us to stay focused in the moment. Okay, step 2, we're going to do in our pencil. And step 2 are corner dots. We simply draw a dot in each of the corners of our square tile. Then we're going to connect those dots in step 3 to create a border. Step 4 is our string, and the string is simply a line or series of lines that separate the space on our tile and give us places to put our patterns or our tangles. So today's string, I've noticed that recently a lot of my videos have the same string. And so today I'm going to do something different, and we're going to do a spiral. I have done spirals before, but I'm just trying to get myself out of the one arched line across the tile. So today we are going to do a spiral. And I start in the middle, and I'm going to leave myself, it's going to be a pretty wide spiral because I want to leave myself plenty of room for my patterns. Okay, so I'm finished with my pencil and put that away, picking up my pen, and we are moving to step 5, the tangles. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to create a little cluster or grouping, if you will, of botanical tangles today. It is spring, I think, has finally sprung here in Iowa, and at least I'm hoping we have no more winter ahead of us. So in that fashion, we are going to celebrate spring by putting some organic tangles into our tile today. So we're going to begin with seamy, which is a flower-shaped petal. It's one of my favorites. And we are going to put that in right at the tip of our line for our spiral. Now, seamy is a blossom tangle, so that means we're going to grow the tangle out from the center. And it begins with a star shape. So I am going to put a star shape right at the end of my spiral string line. Then we are going to aura this star. And I am going to try and turn my tile because it helps me, but I'm going to try to do it without making everybody a little dizzy. Okay, that is our seamy beginning. The next step is to add another layer. Every step will be a new layer, and I'm going to draw a kind of a pointed shape and aura it. I'm going to do that in between each of our petals or points of our star from our center star. So these pointed shapes will be large or small depending on the space they have available for me to put them in. I usually draw big, that's okay, but we don't want our center tangle here to get too large. So I am going to put one more row on here. And that will be my last one. And I keep turning my tile because you have heard me say before, if you've watched, that it helps to keep my lines more consistent, my shapes more consistent, if you will. And it also is better for my wrist. My wrist stays a little more relaxed. Okay, so I have 3 rows counting the center in my seamy, and that is all we need for this tangle. But I want to decorate it up just a touch. So I'm going to put a small pointed shape inside each petal on the second row. So the row in the middle. And because I like a little drama, I'm going to go ahead and fill each of these in so that they are solid black. Okay, and then in the center, I want to put an orb that fills the center of my star. And because I like drama, I am going to make it a black orb, like a black pearl, a little sparkle. So I just draw a circle and I leave a white space as a sparkle. That helps it to look round. Okay, so that was our first pattern, See Me. Now our next tangle is going to be our very fun, simple, basic tangle from Zentangle called Poke Leaf. And what I want to do is I want to put a couple of these poke leaf coming out from my See Me. You remember poke leaf has a line with an aura to make our little stem. Then we put an upside down smile on top of it. And then I am going to start in the center and make my leaf shape. I'll draw behind if I come across any other lines while I'm drawing. And here is another one. Okay. And I think I'm going to put one down here also. You can make these poke leaf shapes as large or small as you want, and they can kind of morph to fill the space that you put them in as well. So don't be afraid to experiment a little bit if you like. I think I'll put another one down here. Okay, I need one more, so I guess I'll put one here. Okay, and you see me draw behind when I come to my see me, and we're going to continue to do that as we build out our little cluster of botanical organic tangles here. So the next tangle we're going to work with is one I haven't done very much with, but I do have a how-to video on it, and that is the tangle Yinx, and that is spelled Y-N-I-X. And we are going to have that tangle come out kind of on our string line going over here. So let's go ahead and have our initial shapes. I gotta figure out where I want them to come out from. I guess I'll have it come out from here, from my see me. Now Yinx is just one seed shape connected to another seed shape, and we're just going to continue to create these shapes that all come together kind of in the center. And then once you have as many as you want, then we are going to aura this entire thing. Okay, so there's our first one. Now I'm going to do another one that kind of shoots out from this one here. And we'll have this one come out over here. So I'm just going to have a real small one there. So I don't want to go too far outside my border. The border is a suggestion, so sometimes it's nice to go outside of the border. Sometimes it's nice to go all the way to the edge of the tile. And then sometimes it's nice to kind of keep it contained. So today we're trying to keep it contained, but if you feel so driven that you want to, go ahead. Let's see, let's do another one over here. If you want to go ahead and go outside the border and go big, go to the edge of the tile, then you just go right ahead. This is your piece. And I'm certainly not going to tell you what to do. Okay, I think that one's good enough also. So we'll come around here and aura it. I think I'm going to do another one to kind of fill the space in here. So we'll have it come out. Actually, let's go ahead and have it come out from see me as well. And it's going to start behind. do our aura. Okay, I think I need one more, so I'm going to put another one, little one coming out here. Okay, so that is our yinks. Another thing you can add to the yinks if you feel like it are just some lines that come down to the center of each group. Each leaf has a vein in it. And you can use these to kind of show some of them folding over if you want, so they can give direction, I guess, to your little clusters. Okay, so I think we're good with yinks. Now the next tangle I want to do is the sister tangle to our poke leaf, and that is poke root. So let's go ahead and put a few of those in here. We start it just like we did our poke leaf with a line and an aura. I always curve my lines, but you don't have to. But that creates our little stem. Then we put an upside down smile on it. And then instead of drawing our leaf shape, we're going to draw a round shape, making it look more like a berry. So then let's do another one. This one's got a longer stem. And I'm just filling up the space in this spiral string. With these patterns as I go around. So it's really, even though we started with a spiral, it doesn't look a whole lot like a spiral because it looks more like a cluster, I think. But it's okay. It's got a little bit of the spiral in it. Should we do a few more? Let's do a few more. Okay, now I'm going to do the Tangle Flux, which has a bit of a leafy look to it. We're going to have that coming out from right here. And you just do this teardrop shape with a line and a dot or two. That's up to you. But because I'm so close to the corner here, I'm just going to continue to go this way. Actually, maybe I'll do this. I'm just going to have like this big hanging grouping of this flux tangle. I think I'm good with flux. I don't think I need any more of that. And then I'm going to come back to my yanks. I'm going to do a few more of those. I'm going to put those in this space here. So we'll have it come up from here. Let's do that. My little line in here. And maybe I'll put a couple more of these poke leaf in over here. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. If you want, you can add in the spaces in between here, you can add some orbs, or because I like drama and I want to add some solid black, I'm making mine black pearls. I am just putting them in some of these larger spaces between. Then I'm leaving a white spot for a sparkle in each one of these. That helps give it a little bit of shape and dimension. It looks like I have some pretty big spaces between my tangles, so my orbs are pretty big. I don't mind. This is a little one. You don't have to fill every space. I'm just really working on some of the bigger ones. This one, I just wanted a little more contrast there. So we'll have a little row of tiny black pearls there. So These black orbs really constitute the pattern tipple, and tipple is a filler pattern, as you see here. We are using it to fill in some of the spaces in between. This will be my last one. Okay, so we are done with our patterns, or step 5, our tangles, and I'm putting my pen away and picking up my pencil because we are now moving to step 6, which is the shading. Now, this tile and these tangles are kind of squished together and it looks a little busy. So I don't want to add too much graphite because that will be a little overwhelming. So what I'm going to do to start with is I am going to just kind of do a little graphite. We're starting in the center with See Me, but we're covering the edges of our first star in the center, and we're putting a little graphite on each side of that star, but we're not putting the graphite into the black. Black will just get lighter. So now I'm going to blend this out, and at the same time I'm going to kind of do 2 rows of shading. So I'm getting the second row here, but then I'm also, with the extra graphite, getting this 3rd row as well. Okay, and honestly, that's really about all you need for See Me. So we're done with that. And now we're going to do the poke leaf because that was the next one we drew. Now with poke leaf, I'm just going to add a little bit right here where these stems hit and meet up with the See Me, and then this one where it meets up with the other poke leaf. And then I'm going to put a little bit right where right underneath each of these upside down smiles. Might as well do these while I'm here. And we might as well fill in our poke root at the same time, since it's going to be shaded exactly the same. Okay, get my tortillon back out now for blending. And I kind of just softly blend it underneath the smile and on the sides of the stem. And then I just kind of try to put a little bit in there, but I'm leaving a light space for a highlight. So you can always add more graphite if you need it. And I'm trying to add less the first time around, just because I tend to overdo it, and that is never a good idea. So this seems to be working pretty good. And then we'll go back here to our original poke leaf. Okay, so far we've got our seamy shaded, and we've got our poke leaf and our poke root shaded. So I'm going to grab my pencil one more time, and I am going to go to Yanks next, and super simple. We're just going to put a little bit of graphite on that center line where they all meet up together. And we should have enough left to cover up those drawing behind areas. Like here where it goes behind this one, and here it goes behind our seamy. So I just blended out what I had already put down there in the center. Push it out a little bit to each side. Okay. These tangles are so easy to draw, and yet they're really lovely when they're done. They're easy to draw, they're easy to shade, super simple. Anyone can do this. Okay, we've got one more over here. I don't think I put any graphite on that one, so let's come back over here. Okay, now I'm gonna, where they go behind. And they go behind the seam. Okay, and we have one left, and that is our flux. And just like we did our yanks, we're going to do the same thing here with our flux. This one I started a little different, so I went ahead and went around my poke root because they kind of come out from there, and then I can go straight up. And they kind of go behind each other here. It's pretty dark. Back to my old shading ways, apparently, but that's all good. No mistakes. Now, one other thing you can do on the flux is just a little bit around the perimeter, but not too much. Not adding anything, just kind of using my tortillon. So we're moving now to step 7, which is to initial and sign your piece. I like to use a chop instead of an initial on the front. A chop is an artist mark, And oftentimes it is kind of a stylized version of initials. Mine happens to be stylized, and I'm going to tuck mine in right down here in this corner. And it is going to come from behind, just going to go behind the inks there. And then I'll add my perfs. Perfs are just little dots or circular decorations that you add. And so there's my chop or my initials on the front. And now I'm going to turn it over. And on the back, Zentangle gives you nice little lines here. I'm going to date mine, but I like to do that off camera. Then I'm going to sign it. And then I like to name the tangles that I used. So today we began with seamy. And then we did poke leaf. And we also did poke root. And we did yinks. And finally, we did flux. So we have 5 tangles in our little organic cluster. And you can add any notes onto the back of your tile that you like. I think I'm going to go ahead and add that this is done for my Mindful Monday number 71. So step 8 is to appreciate again what we've done. And we've drawn a fun little organic tangled tile. But more importantly, we've taken some time for ourselves to slow ourselves down and bring ourselves into the moment. It also helps to let everything fall away. So I hope you enjoyed our Mindful Monday session today. And if you did, I hope you will just take a minute to let me know. You can put a comment below or you can send me a message. But the best thing you could do is to draw along, then post your tile on social so I can take a look at what you've done and appreciate you for watching and tangling along. That's all I have for you today. And as always, I shall remind you to be you and be happy.